The last escape, the sky burned red over the desert planet of Delos 9. Wind blew across the dry ground, carrying the sound of engines and distant gunfire. A small figure ran through the sand, her steps fast and desperate. Her name was Liara. She wore a dark cloak that hid her face, but her silver eyes shone brightly even in the dust. Her body was thin, her breath short, but she didn't stop. Above her, black ships searched the sky. Red lights moved across the ground looking for her. They were hunting her. Liara reached an old crashed ship half buried in the sand. The metal was rusted and broken, but she climbed inside quickly. She pulled a small device from her pocket, a round crystal with glowing blue lines. She held it close and whispered, "Please, someone, anyone." She pressed a button. A signal left the planet shooting through space. Far, far away in a quiet corner of the galaxy, someone heard it. Jack Mason was a cargo pilot. He lived alone on his old ship, the Kestrel. He didn't have friends. He didn't like trouble. He just wanted peace and silence between jobs. But that night, his ship beeped. Incoming distress signal. Jack sat up in his seat. He frowned. What the hell is this? He tapped a few buttons. A strange voice came through, soft, scared, and alien. "They're coming. Please help. They will kill me." Jack raised an eyebrow. Great. Another mess. But then the screen showed an image. A girl. Her face tired, her eyes full of fear. Behind her, fire burned in the sky. Jack sighed. I must be crazy. He changed course. Back on Delos 9, Liara heard the sound of ships above. The hunters were getting closer. She closed her eyes and clutched the crystal to her chest. She didn't want to die here. Not like this. Not alone. Suddenly, a shadow passed over the crashed ship. A new ship, small and gray, dropped from the sky. Jack landed the Kestrel fast and rough. He opened the door, holding a blaster just in case. "Anyone here?" he called. Liara stepped out, weak and shaking. Jack saw the fear in her eyes, and something else. Not human, but not dangerous. "You the one who sent that signal?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "Well, come on then," Jack said, "before someone blows us both up." They ran into the ship. Just as the door closed, lasers hit the ground outside. The Kestrel took off fast, dodging fire from the black ships. Inside, Jack sat at the controls, flying through the clouds. Liara sat behind him, coughing, trying to breathe. "Who are they?" Jack asked. "And why are they trying to kill you?" Liara looked at him. Her voice was quiet. "They want what I carry, something ancient, something powerful." Jack frowned. "What kind of something?" She opened her hand. The blue crystal floated above her palm, glowing softly. "This," she said, "is the heart of my people. The last one. If they take it, they will use it to control the stars." Jack stared at it. "You're telling me this tiny thing can, blow up planets?" "No," she said. "Worse, it can steal the light from them, turn stars into cold stones. Forever." Jack leaned back. "Okay, I've heard crazy stories before, but this one wins." Liara looked down. "I don't care if you believe me. I just needed a place to hide." Jack didn't say anything for a moment, then he asked, "What's your name?" "Liara." "Well, Liara," Jack said, "you're lucky I was bored today. But next time, you ask for help, maybe mention the part where people try to kill me too." Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped again. Tracking signal detected. Enemy ships approaching. Jack cursed under his breath. "They followed us." He stood up and grabbed a small blaster. "Stay in here, lock the door. If they get in, hide." Liara touched his arm. "If they find me, they'll kill you too." Jack looked at her, serious. "Yeah," he said, "but I don't like bullies, and I don't leave people behind." Outside the Kestrel, black ships came closer, ready to attack again. But Jack Mason, a simple human pilot, had already made a choice. He was going to protect the alien girl who fell from the stars, and whatever this crystal was, whatever danger it brought, He was in it now, whether he liked it or not. The stranger and the secret the Kestrel moved through deep space like a ghost, running silent with no lights, no signal, and no destination. Inside the ship, Jack Mason sat at the controls, eyes tired, hand on the flight stick. He hadn't spoken in over an hour. His brain was busy asking one question again and again: what have I just done? He had picked up a stranger, a hunted alien girl carrying something powerful, something dangerous. Now he was running from ships that wanted her dead. Maybe him too. Behind him, the girl, Liara, stood quietly. Her silver eyes watched the stars pass through the small window. She hadn't said a word either, but she felt it. Something in the dark was still chasing them. "You're quiet," Jack said finally. "I'm listening," she replied. "To what?" "To the stars," she said softly. "They're whispering. Something is wrong." Jack sighed. "Yeah, I figured that out when warships started shooting at me." A few hours later, Jack parked the Kestrel on a small, forgotten refueling station orbiting a dead moon. There was no one there, just old machines and silence. He turned off the engines and let the ship drift. "We'll hide here for a while," Jack said. "They won't scan us this far out." Liara nodded, but her eyes stayed on the glowing crystal in her hand. The blue light pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Jack walked over to her. "What is that thing? You said it can destroy stars." "Is that true?" Liara hesitated, then looked up at him. "No," she said. "It doesn't destroy stars. It wakes them." "Wakes them?" "My people built it long ago. It was part of a machine, a starseed. It could restart dying suns, bring light back to dead systems." Jack stared at her. "You're saying it's some kind of god tool?" "We called it the Heart of Athara," she said. "There were 7. Now only 1 remains." Jack rubbed the back of his neck. "And those guys chasing? They want to use it as a weapon?" "Yes," she said. "They belong to the Hollow Legion. They believe in silence. Cold. Death. They want to end light in the galaxy." Jack let out a long breath. "So, I didn't just pick up a runaway. I picked up the last hope for the universe." Liara smiled weakly. "You always talk like that?" "Only when I'm scared out of my mind," he said. Later, while Jack was fixing a power relay, Liara explored the ship. She stopped at a photo stuck on the wall. A man and a woman stood smiling in front of a farm. Between them stood a younger Jack, maybe 10 years old, holding a small dog. "Your family?" she asked when he walked in. "Was," Jack said quietly. "My parents died in a colony war. After that, I joined the Navy. Then I quit. Now I just fly freight and avoid people." "But you helped me," she said. Jack shrugged. "Yeah, well, maybe I got tired of running." That night, while Jack slept in the pilot chair, Liara stood in the engine room. She placed the crystal into a small round port. For a moment nothing happened. Then a low hum filled the air. The ship's lights flickered. A hidden panel on the wall opened, and inside, a glowing star map appeared. Liara's eyes widened. It was a forgotten path, one only her people knew. It pointed to a planet, Alien Prime, long believed to be a myth. "The court," she whispered. "It still exists." Suddenly, alarm screamed through the ship. Jack jumped up. "What now?" On the screen, 3 enemy signals were incoming. "Black ships. Hollow Legion. Fast. How did they find us?" Jack shouted. Liara looked down. Her hands trembled. "They're tracking the crystal," she said. "It's too powerful. They can feel it, even across stars." Jack grabbed his coat. "We need to move, now." "No," Liara said. "It's too late. They're jamming the engines. We can't run." She looked at him with fear, but also determination. "We hide," she said, "and I'll use the heart." "Use it how?" Jack asked. She placed the crystal back into the engine core. "I'm going to speak to the ship." "Excuse me?" "This ship is old," she said, "but it was built with ancient tech. I can wake it." Outside, the black ships approached, charging their weapons. Inside, Liara stood with her eyes closed. The crystal glowed brighter, the engine room filled with strange light. The ship began to shake. Jack held onto the wall. "Liara, what's happening?" Suddenly, the Kestrel vanished from sight. To the outside world it became invisible, completely hidden from all scanners and eyes. The black ships stopped. They circled, searched, scanned, and found nothing. After a few minutes, they left. Inside the Kestrel, Liara collapsed to the floor, exhausted. Jack caught her before she hit the ground. "What did you do?" he asked. "I folded light around us," she whispered. "But it's only temporary. They'll come back." Jack looked at her, this strange alien girl who held the last piece of ancient magic in her hands. He knew now. He couldn't turn back. "We need help," he said. "Someone who knows this tech. Someone who can protect us." Liara nodded slowly. Jack pulled up a new course on the map. "We're going to see an old friend," he said. "Someone who owes me a favor." As the Kestrel flew into the blackness, Liara looked out the window again, and this time the stars whispered a little louder. Flight through firespace was silent but not calm. The Kestrel flew through a narrow path inside a dark asteroid field. Giant rocks drifted in slow motion, some the size of cities, others sharp like broken glass. It wasn't just dangerous, it was suicidal to fly here without a death wish. But Jack Mason wasn't turning around. Not this time. He sat at the controls, his jaw tight, eyes scanning for danger. Beside him, Liara watched the map. The crystal in her hand glowed like a warning. "This is the only path," she said. "If we go around the field, the Legion will catch us." "Great," Jack muttered. "So we either get crushed by space rocks or burned by cyborgs." "There's a third option," Liara said softly. "Oh yeah? We survive." Jack smiled just a little. "I like that one. Let's try it." Their destination was Eris 13, a mining world long abandoned after the machines went rogue. Jack had an old contact there, Captain Rin Soren, a former mercenary who now ran a secret outpost. If anyone could hide them or help understand the crystal, it was her. But the journey wasn't going to be easy. As the Kestrel pushed deeper into the asteroid field, a soft sound echoed through the ship. Ping, ping, ping. Jack frowned. "What is that?" Liara closed her eyes. "They've released trackers, small bots. They're hunting us." Jack slammed a switch. Not today. The Kestrel twisted between two massive rocks, barely missing one. Jack activated manual thrusters. His hands moved fast, sweating. Liara gripped her seat as the ship spun and ducked, dodging falling debris. Behind them, 3 small black machines zipped forward, thin, spider-like drones with red eyes. They were fast. Faster than the Kestrel. "How close are we to Eris 13? Jack shouted. 20 minutes, Liara answered. "We won't make 20 minutes. The drones fired thin red beams. One sliced through the Kestrel's wing. Sparks flew. Alarms screamed. Jack cursed. "I need you to do something." "What?" "Whatever you did last time. Talk to the ship. Wake it up." Liara nodded, ran to the engine room, and placed the crystal back into the port. This time, she didn't just speak to the ship, she connected to it. Her skin glowed, her veins lit up with silver light. In the cockpit, Jack saw the dashboard change. Symbols he had never seen appeared across the screen. The ship began to move faster, smarter, like it could feel danger before it happened. One drone got close. Suddenly, a hidden cannon popped out from the side of the Kestrel and shot a blue pulse. Direct hit. The drone exploded in silence. "What the?" Jack blinked. "I didn't even know we had weapons," Liara's voice echoed from the comms. "We do now, but the other 2 drones had already released something worse. Signal flares." Jack's eyes widened as he saw dozens of red dots appear on the radar. "They just told the whole Legion where we are," he said. "We have maybe 5 minutes before the real monsters show up." Then we reach Eris in 4, Liara replied. The Kestrel burned through the asteroid field, weaving through deadly debris, smashing small rocks, outflying machines built for death. Jack had never flown like this before. But the ship was helping him. It was like flying with a mind of its own. Finally, they broke free of the asteroid field and saw Eris 13, a dead world. Gray, cold, spinning slowly in the dark. Old. Mining towers stood like broken bones on the surface. Machines lay frozen in place, and beneath the surface, hidden by layers of metal, was a secret hangar. Jack sent the code. The floor opened. The Kestrel landed hard and fast inside the hidden base. As soon as the ship stopped, Jack and Liara jumped out. The hangar closed above them, sealing them in. They were safe. For now. Inside the base, a woman waited. Ran Soren. Tall, armored, with a scar over one eye. She walked toward them with a slow, powerful step. Her voice was sharp. "Jack Mason," she said. "I thought you were dead." "Not yet," Jack said. "Rin, meet Liara. She's carrying something big." Rin looked at Liara. Her eyes narrowed when she saw the crystal. "Where did you get that?" "It was given to me," Liara said. "I am its guardian." Rin's face changed. Not fear, not anger, but something deeper. Recognition. "You shouldn't have come here," she said. Jack stepped forward. "You said if I ever needed help, you'd be here." "I am," Rin replied. "But you didn't just bring trouble, you brought a war." That night, as they rested inside the base, Liara and Jack sat by a fire. "Can we trust her?" Liara asked. "Rin?" Jack looked at the door. "She saved my life once, but she's also done things. Things I never asked about. I think she knows more about the crystal than she told us," Liara said. Jack nodded. "Then tomorrow we get answers." But Rin wasn't waiting for tomorrow. In a dark room, she sent a secret signal. Her hand hovered over a comms button. On the screen appeared a face. A half-human, half-machine face. General Vorn, Rin's voice was cold. "I have the girl. And the crystal. Double the payment. Or I destroy them both." Vorn smiled. "Done." The betrayer, the silence in Rin Soren's base was deep, almost too deep. Far below the surface of Eris 13, inside a forgotten hangar carved into rock and steel, Jack Mason paced across the metal floor. His boots echoed with each step, and tension filled the air like smoke before a fire. He couldn't sleep, not after what he saw in Rin's eyes. They hadn't changed, not really, but Jack could feel something cold behind her calm words, something dangerous. He glanced at the old security cameras in the hallway. "You still awake?" he called softly. Liara's voice came from inside her room. "Yes?" Jack opened the door. Liara sat on the floor, legs crossed, the crystal floating above her open palms. Soft blue light lit the walls. "You should rest," Jack said. "So should you," she replied. He leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "I don't trust her," Liara said. "Rin, she hides her fear behind questions." Jack nodded. "She was a killer before she was a leader. I know what she's capable of." "Then why are we here?" Liara asked. "Because we had nowhere else to go." She looked up at him. "We still don't." In another room, Rin Soren watched an old hologram. Her face was calm, but her eyes flickered with old pain. The video showed her younger self standing beside General Vorn, before he became half-machine, before he burned planets in the name of control. Back then, they were both soldiers. Back then, they were lovers. And then he changed. He betrayed her, destroyed her world, left her broken, and, no, she was ready to return the favor, or so she told herself. But when the screen lit up again with Vorn's image, her heart still tightened. "I have the girl," Rin said. Vorn's voice came through, sharp and cold. "Good. And the crystal?" Secured. Excellent, he said. Our ship will arrive in 12 hours. Prepare the handoff. Rin hesitated. 12 hours. And then it would all be over. She would be rich, safe, free. And Jack Mason? Just collateral. Hours passed. Jack woke with a jolt. The base was shaking, an alarm sounded, faint but real. What now? He whispered, grabbing his jacket. He ran into Liara's room, empty. Liara? He turned sharply. Rin stood in the hallway, blaster drawn. You lied, Jack said. I made a deal, she answered. Jack's hand moved toward his sidearm. Rin shook her head. Don't, she said. I don't want to kill you. You just want to sell her. It's not like that, Rin said, stepping closer. You don't understand what that crystal is. Then tell me. Rin's face tightened. It's not just a power source, it's a command key, built by a race older than stars. Whoever controls it controls ancient machines buried across the galaxy, whole fleets, armies. Then Vorn will use it to conquer everything, Jack said. Yes. And you're giving it to him? Rin looked away. I have no choice. There's always a choice, Jack said. You just made the wrong one. Without warning, he hit the lights. The hallway went dark. Jack ducked, rolled, and fired. A blast flew past Rin, missing her by inches. Rin cursed and returned fire. Elsewhere in the base, Liara was already on the move. She had overheard everything. With the crystal in her hands, she ran through dark tunnels trying to reach the ship. But the base had changed. Doors were locked. Traps activated. The AI inside, the crystal whispered to her. They have turned the path, but not the light. Guide me, she whispered, and the walls began to shift. Back in the hallway, Jack dodged behind cover. Rin was a better shot, but Jack was faster. Why him? Jack shouted. After everything he did to you? Rin shouted back, her voice cracked. Because I've lost too much. This is my way out. Jack stood. He doesn't let people go. He owns them. Rin fired again. Jack dove across the hall, sliding behind a crate. You're making a deal with the devil, but devils don't keep promises. Suddenly a sound echoed. Metal footsteps. Heavy ones. Jack and Rin both froze. What is that? Jack asked. Rin paled. He's early. A part of the roof opened. A black ship descended into the hangar. A group of machines stepped out. Vorn's honor guard. Tall, armored, with red eyes and metal hands shaped like claws. General Vorn stepped out last, his body glowing with faint electricity. One eye human, one mechanical. He smiled. Rin, he said, you always deliver. Jack stepped forward, gun drawn. You're not taking her. Vorn raised his hand, and Jack flew backward, hitting the wall hard. Humans, Vorn said coldly. Always brave, always weak. Then his smile faded because behind him the air shimmered and Liara stepped forward, the crystal now shining like a star. She didn't run. She didn't beg. She stood tall. This ends now, she said. The machines turned toward her. Vorn reached out with his mind, but the crystal pushed back. A wave of energy knocked the guards. Away, the base shook violently. You were never meant to have this power, Liara said. You do not understand it. Then teach me, Vorn whispered, before I kill you. You can't, she said. I am the heart now. And then she vanished. A teleport. Jack gasped. Where'd she go? Vorn screamed in rage. Rin looked stunned. And far above, on a different part of Eris, the stars shifted because Liara was not running anymore. She had a new plan, and she wasn't alone. Captured space was not silent anymore. In the orbit above a dying blue star, Vorn's flagship, the Obsidian Throne, floated like a black dagger. Its surface was jagged like bone and steel fused together. It was alive, part machine, part weapon. Inside, the air was cold. The lights pulsed like veins. Nothing here was built for comfort. It was built for fear. Jack Mason woke up in chains. His head throbbed. His back hurt. His wrists were locked in magnetic cuffs suspended above the ground. The room smelled like oil and rust. "Welcome back," a deep voice said. Jack lifted his head. General Vorn stood in the shadows, hands behind his back, eyes glowing faint red. Jack spat blood. "You could have just asked me to visit." Vorn stepped forward. His metal boots echoed with every step. "You protected the girl," Vorn said. "Admirable. Foolish, but admirable. She has a name." Vorn smiled. "So did the millions my army buried." In another part of the ship, Liara was not in chains, but her prison was worse. A glass chamber floating in a cold void, surrounded by monitors, scanners, and machines designed to read thoughts. She sat in the middle, calm. Her eyes closed. The crystal floated near her, but inside a separate containment field. It hummed softly like it missed her touch. Vorn appeared on the screen. "Do you know where you are?" he asked. "Your ship," Liara said, without opening her eyes. "Built from stolen tech and dead cities." "This ship is history in motion," Vorn said, "and soon you will power it." Liara opened her eyes now, calm, focused. "You want the key, but you don't understand the door." "I understand power," Vorn replied, "and I understand what you're hiding." The screen changed. It showed a vision, a planet covered in machines, towers of ancient design, and a symbol glowing in the soil, the mark of Ithera. "This is where the others are," Vorn said. "The last hidden city of your kind. Buried, lost, but not for long." Liara's breath caught, but just for a second. "You think the heart will open that world?" Vorn said, "but it won't open for just anyone." He leaned forward. "It needs pain. It needs a sacrifice." Back in the cell, Jack sat in silence as the wall lit up. Rin appeared on the other side. Her arms were crossed, her face unreadable. "You're alive," she said. "You still working for him?" Jack asked coldly. "I didn't choose this," she said. "You always choose," Jack said. "You just stopped choosing the right side." Rin stepped closer. "You don't know what he's done to me. What he's promised. I know he'll break it," Jack said, "like he breaks everything." Rin's voice lowered. "He's going to use her to open the vault. And if he succeeds, no one, not you, not me, not this galaxy, will stop him." "Then, help me stop him," Jack said. Rin stared at him for a long time, then she whispered, "Midnight. Be ready," and disappeared. When midnight came, the plan didn't go smoothly. Rin returned, but not alone. She took out the guards, but not before one hit the alarm. Red lights flashed. The base shook. Jack grabbed a blaster, still limping from the cuffs, and followed her through tight corridors. "Where's Liara?" he shouted. "Containment deck," Rin said. "But Vorn's already moving her." They reached the glass chamber. It was empty. Only the crystal remained. Jack ran to it. "Where is she?" A soft voice behind them answered, "Gone." "General," Vorn stepped out of the shadows, this time without guards, because he didn't need any. He raised one hand and the room warped. Rin collapsed, screaming, her mind overwhelmed. Jack fired. Once, twice, 3 times. Vorn didn't even flinch. Then he snapped his fingers, and suddenly, Jack was somewhere else. A memory? No. A dream? No. He was inside a vision. A prison made of his own past. He stood on the battlefield where his parents had died, heard their voices, saw himself as a child crying under fire. "You carry guilt," Vorn's voice echoed. "You hide it with jokes and flying tricks, but it's always there." "Get out of my head," Jack shouted. Vorn's face appeared, in the sky. "No. Not until you break. Not until you give me what I need." Elsewhere, Liara floated inside a dark machine chamber. Wires tried to connect to her skin, but they couldn't, because the heart had changed her. Her body glowed. Her blood carried starlight. Her mind wasn't just her own anymore. A whisper spoke inside her. "You are not the last. You are the gate. And then she knew. The vault Vorn was searching for. The ancient city. It was alive. And it was calling her. The crystal pulsed once, twice, then exploded with a wave of light. Across the ship, circuits fried, systems crashed, doors opened. Jack fell from his vision, awake, gasping, free. Rin stood beside him, dazed but alive. What just happened? She asked. She fought back, Jack said. From inside the machine? Jack nodded. Yeah, and she's not done yet. General Vorn screamed in rage. His hand reached out, but the chamber was already empty. Liara had escaped, but not alone. The AI of Ithara had awakened inside her, and now it was guiding her to the lost world. The final mission had begun, but Vorn had one more trick. As he stared into space, he whispered, "Let her run. I want her to see what happened and when hope dies." Awakening cold wind moved across the surface of a silent world. A dark ocean covered most of it, calm but hiding secrets far beneath, and in the sky above, a small silver ship descended, the Kestrel, barely repaired, flying like a wounded bird that refused to fall. Inside, Jack Mason sat at the controls, face bruised, knuckles bloodied. Beside him, Liara stared at the screen, her hand resting on the crystal that pulsed like a beating heart. They had followed the map hidden inside the crystal. They had crossed black holes, escaped Vorn's prison ship, and now they had arrived at Thara's last breath, the sleeping city, the birthplace of the keys. But the planet had no name in modern maps. It didn't exist in any system. It was erased. "What is this place?" Jack asked. Liara's voice was soft. "Home." They landed near a mountain made of metal, covered in ash and fog. Huge towers stood broken, half buried beneath centuries of sand and silence. Glyphs were carved into the stone, symbols not seen in 1,000 star systems. As they stepped out of the ship, the ground responded. Blue lines lit up under their feet, spreading like veins through the dust. "It's alive," Jack said. "No," Liara replied. "It's waking up." Deeper into the ruins, they reached a temple built from obsidian and light. Inside stood 7 empty thrones surrounding a single platform. The platform pulsed. Liara stepped forward, crystal in hand. Her fingers trembled, not from fear, but from something greater, recognition. This place remembered her, and it wanted her to remember it. The AI within the crystal spoke for the first time in full voice, not a whisper, not a warning, but a command. "Place the heart, complete the circle, awaken the crown." Jack looked at her. "You sure this is safe?" "No," Liara said, "but it's the only way to stop Vorn." She placed the crystal on the platform. For a second, nothing happened. Then, everything happened at once. The temple shook. Energy exploded from the crystal, spreading in rings of light. Ancient machines in the city powered up. Statues opened their eyes. Towers rose from the ground, rebuilt by invisible force. And Liara fell to her knees. Visions poured into her mind. Millions of voices. Forgotten names. Buried wars. She saw her ancestors. Guardians of the stars. Protectors of balance. Creators of the keys. She saw why the vault was hidden. Not because it was dangerous, but because the galaxy was not ready for its power. And now, the choice was hers. Awaken it fully, or let it sleep forever. Jack pulled her up. "What did you see?" "Everything," she whispered. "The vault isn't just a weapon, it's a seed. A way to restart dying galaxies. To rebuild from ruin. And Vorn wants it for himself." "Yes," she said. "But if I unlock the full power, I don't know if I'll survive it." Jack placed his hand on her shoulder. "Then, we find another way." But they were out of time. In orbit above, Vorn's fleet arrived, hundreds of ships, black and silent. They had tracked the energy spike from the activation. Vorn stood at the edge of his warship, eyes locked on the surface below. "She found it," he said. A commander stepped forward. "Orders? Land. Take her. Burn the rest." On the planet, Liara turned toward the thrones. Each one now glowed faintly. They weren't just seats. They were vessels, old guardians trapped in sleep, waiting for the next bloodline to wake them. "Can I free them?" she asked. The AI answered, "You are the last key. Your will becomes the code. Your pain becomes the fuel." She stepped forward. "Then take what you need." Light exploded from her chest. She screamed, not in pain, but in power. The crystal dissolved into her. Her skin cracked with glowing lines. Her eyes turned white with energy. The 7 thrones filled with light. Ghosts appeared. Beings of energy and memory. The last guardians. They bowed to her and then vanished, transferred into her body. She was not alone anymore. She was many. Jack watched, silent. "What are you?" he asked softly. She turned, voice layered with echoes. A voice from the end of time. Then she collapsed. Above, Vorn landed on the planet. His soldiers stormed the ruins. They found the temple. And inside, they found Jack, standing over Liara's unconscious body. Vorn stepped into the chamber, his metal body humming with energy. "You fought well, Mason," he said. "But this is where your story ends." Jack raised a blaster but knew it wouldn't matter. Vorn snapped his fingers. His guards dragged Jack to his knees. "You can't stop what's coming," Vorn said. Jack grinned through bloody teeth. "Neither can you, because behind them, the air cracked open. Liara floated into the air, surrounded by blue fire. Her voice shook the walls. "You have touched the edge of something you don't understand. You are not the future. You are the virus." Vorn laughed. "Then destroy me." And Liara smiled. "Not yet." The light exploded. Machines melted. The ground broke. And far above, across the galaxy, dead stars began to flicker. Because the awakening had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The last stand, the world was breaking. Sky and stone trembled together. Above, Vorn's fleet surrounded the atmosphere like a black cage. Below, the planet of Ithara pulsed with ancient energy, awakened after centuries of silence. At the center stood Liara, now more than herself. She floated above the ancient temple, wrapped in light and storm, her eyes glowing white, her voice echoing, with the memories of the 7 guardians. But her body was failing. Jack Mason watched from the broken doorway, heart pounding. He had seen many things in his life, but never this. Not a girl becoming a star, not a machine bowing to memory, not a city breathing again after 10,000 years. He called to her. "Liara, come down!" She turned slightly. Her voice came in layers, human and not. "I can't." "Then stop," Jack shouted. "You'll burn yourself alive." She looked at him, a soft sadness in her glowing eyes. There's no other way. Above them, Vorn prepared his final strike. On board his flagship, he stood in a chamber of rotating rings, a planet-killer cannon spinning to life. "This world is a disease," he said. "If I can't control it, I'll erase it." His commanders hesitated. "But, General, the energy pulse is growing. We don't know what she's—" "Fire anyway," Vorn commanded. "End the last hope." On the ground, Jack ran to the temple platform. "You said this place could rebuild stars," he said. "Can it stop that cannon?" Liara nodded weakly. "Yes, but it needs a direct source. A living spark." "Then let the planet feed it," Jack said. "No," Liara said. "It needs a mind. A heart." She looked at him with tearful eyes. "A sacrifice." Jack froze. "Don't say that." "You always protected me," she whispered. "Now it's my turn." Vorn's cannon locked on. Countdown. 60 seconds. Ships in orbit moved into firing positions. But on the ground, something shifted. The ruins around Liara began to spin slowly as if time was folding in on itself. Runes on the walls burned bright. The platform under her feet cracked open. A massive core of light rose from below, glowing gold and blue, humming like a heartbeat. Liara stepped. Into it, she screamed, once and then, silence. Jack fell to his knees. The entire planet went dark, for 1 second, and then, light exploded upward into the sky like a second sun. The beam tore through clouds, broke through space, and hit the cannon in orbit. Vorn's flagship shook violently. "What is this?" he screamed. The beam grew. It didn't just destroy the cannon, it erased it. Metal became dust. Circuits became ash. The entire top of the ship disappeared into light. But Liara was gone. Only her voice remained. "You cannot control the future. You can only protect it." Vorn fell to the floor. The rest of his fleet, leaderless and blinded, retreated into hyperspace. The war was over. 3 days later, Jack walked alone through the ruins of Athara. The planet was quiet again. Flowers now grew in places that once held stone. Machines had turned to gardens. The city had changed, rebuilt itself, not for war, but for peace. Jack stood where Liara had fallen. In the center of the temple where the core once stood, now bloomed a tree. Its bark shimmered with starlight. Its roots pulsed like a heartbeat. He touched it gently. "You did it," he whispered. As he turned to leave, the tree glowed softly. A whisper touched his ear. "I am not gone. I am just becoming." Jack smiled through his tears. "Of course you are." In the years that followed, the legend of the last guardian spread across the stars. They said a girl once stopped an empire with light alone. They said a man gave up his past to protect the future. And they said, if you listen closely in the right place under the right stars, you can still hear her voice, not as a weapon, but as a promise.